What do you think if people are listening and are interested in that and they say, well, how do I change it? What would be your answer to where people should start if they want to change how they respond to a trigger? And
Okay.
I'm going to add something. Sorry, can I just add something else? Because I think you said there's something
Sure.
that's really important. We're not aware of our triggers always.
No, we're not.
And a lot of our lives are almost controlled by things that have happened to us. So
Yeah.
it's a fascinating thing getting people to understand what really triggers them.
Well, here's what happens. Sometimes,
Yeah.
like let's say this might happen in personal relationships too. Okay.
Yeah.
There's different things that will trigger people. You hear something like that and something's wrong right away. And so it'll annoy you and you go, well, what's the matter? What's wrong? Well, maybe there's nothing wrong. Maybe we're just thinking of something else. But at least if you recognize, if you're paying attention outside your head, you got to stay out of your head and observe what's going on in front of you with people. If you see the eyes rolling thing or whatever the case is, and that's going to trigger you back, by the way, then you might stop and say, I'm sorry, listen, what did I just do? What did I just say? Something that got you to do that? And they're going to unload on you, by the way, because they don't know, they haven't gotten good feedback lessons on how to apply feed forward in an appropriate manner. But so they're going to dump on you anyway. They're going to, well, you always got it on, blah, 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 blah. Just take the information and then think about what you want to do with that. If you want to change your responses to something, there are different states we can go into in how we perceive. There's another whole topic in NLP. Perception is reality. It's what you perceive and what I perceive. Watching and listening to the same thing are going to be different.
Yeah. Yes.
But how can you then change your perception, or should you change your perception? And we do have certain. I'll throw it out there now. We do have something we all call a shared reality. You might call it a chase lounge, and I'll call it a chair. But when we look at the object, we all know what it is. It's something you're going to put your seat in. You're going to sit down and be comfortable on the thing, right? So we do have what we'll call shared realities. But I can promise you, there are a lot of things I can think about, and you'll say, that guy Laval is really weird. And there's some things I can think about, and I go, boy, Michael's a great guy, but boy, he's got some strange things going.
I find that fascinating. One of my clients, who's a VP of, I'm not going to say what he said, Mike, when you realize everybody else is mad, that just means they have a different map to yours.
Exactly.
When everybody else is insane, life becomes much easier. And he had a similar one. He said, I used to believe that senior managers knew what they were doing. I used to believe that senior managers knew what they were doing. And when I suddenly realized they're just like me, they're finding their own, their own way, they're exploring it. Actually, he's doing very well. He's in line for his president.
Sure.
Job. And everything became so much easier when he stopped taking it all too seriously.
Well, I always made jokes about upper management when I was working wherever I worked. Jokes, tender jokes, I should say.
Yeah.
I always referred to them as the mucky mucks upstairs. And if I had to go up there to see someone or whatever, I'd say, well, I'll be back in a little while. I got to go upstairs to Stress Me Street, things like that. But some of them heard about those things and they started laughing about them.
Right.
And another part about understanding humans is that if you can get them into a state of laughing at least, or smiling, a good, positive, humorful state, they can change their problems and solve their problems much quicker. Again,
so important. I think this is so important.
I'm going to go back to this brain chemistry thing. I can refer to anybody out there. You wake up in the morning, you get ready, you're going to go to work, can't find your keys. You go, oh my God, where's my keys? You hit stress management time, it's in there. Blah, 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 blah. You're looking all over the place, you can't find it. You can't find your keys, and it's getting late. You got to start. You should have left by now. All those things, but you're still making not good chemistry. And then you finally get tired of looking. Maybe you're looking at the clock and go, well, I'm already late for work. The hell with it. Boom. That's it. I'm done. You know what? I'm done. Just hell with it. And you're going to sit down and have a cup of coffee. The moment you do that, your brain chemistry changes and you're going to find where your keys are. That's why I tell people, I know it seems like coincidental, but it's always in the last place you look. And it's not because you forgot where you put your keys. It's because you didn't see your keys to begin with and you hit stress point and started making bad chemistry in your brain. Once you stop doing the bad chemistry, you said, you know what, I'm going to relax. I'm already late. I'm going to relax. Let me have a cup of coffee. I'll get back, get my keys. because your brain is still searching for some reason.
No,
It's
I
still,
like that. One of my views is that in doing NLP, it's not so techniques are very useful because they allow you to accomplish things. But I think doing NLPs are like going down the gym and tuning up certain things. You mentioned something about getting out of your head, so your attention is actually out in the world rather than thinking about my thoughts and stuff. And that's one of the there's a lot of what we do, whether we talked about the meta model where you're listening to people's language. You can't do it if you're in your head because you actually got to take information. You've actually got to pay a lot of attention to somebody else. To me, a lot of NLP isn't necessarily the benefit isn't necessarily what's sold on the tin. It's actually it gets you to do things that are really, really helpful.